Ryan McCombs of Drowning Pool joins me, Ned, on the Underground. Ryan, how are you, man?
I'm doing all right. I gotta apologize to you right off the bat here, though. My people, they know I'm a talker. They know I'm a chatty Cathy, man, and they gave me 20 minutes to do this interview, and it's like, I don't. I feel like they don't know me. I know they know me, but I feel like they don't know me when they do. It's kind of like those moments when your wife says something to you, and it's like it almost hurts you because you're like, man, I thought you knew who I was. But yeah, I appreciate your time, Ned. Man, I appreciate this very much.
Oh, man, there's so much looking forward to it, Ryan. And I've got to kick things off by saying I woke up this morning, checked the old Facebook, I think it was, and it says, Drowning Pool singer says he hates social media. That was the first thing I woke up to this morning. Is that true?
Wow. But that was what was it, like a blabbermouth quote or something?
Yeah, it was like blabbermouth. I went back to find it tonight, and I'm like, I can't remember which one it was. It was one of those quotes from
Right,
some.
right.
I'm like, I'm talking to that guy tonight.
No, I do. And that's not anything to do. I love social media. I appreciate. Let's not use the word
Really?
love in that. I appreciate social media because of the fact that it is a medium that allows bands, in our situation, allows bands to stay in contact with the people out there that support the music and everything that allow us to do what we do. And because without them, we would be we'd be selling shoes or something. I don't know. We'd be doing whatever it is that we'd be. Yeah, we wouldn't be doing it. We wouldn't be allowed to do this. So I love social media. I appreciate social media because it allows us to stay in contact with the people that allow us to be us. But I hate social media because of what it does as far as the big picture society wise.
Yeah.
I hate that the world is full of just generations of zombies that walk around with and I'm guilty too. You know,
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it, but I'm guilty too. Sitting around with that stupid phone in my hand all the time. And you're on the social medias. I mean, most of the time I'm dealing with emails and text messages and stuff as far as stuff like Australian tours and everything. Um, but so much of it, the social media is such a crap thing in another way because people are so concentrated on how many likes they're getting and all this shit, and it's such a false world. And I hate that. I've said there's that saying like if you could go back in time, what would you do? And it's the old. Sorry if I'm saying something that people aren't familiar with, but it's the old, I'd go back and kill baby Hitler. But no, I wouldn't. I'd go back and step in the way of anybody who had anything to do with creating social media because man, I hate the effect that it's had on society.
Yeah, I think that was very well said right there. I just wanted to get that off the bat because it was like first thing I woke up to this morning. But you guys are filling in for CKY and a bit of drama surrounding that one, Ryan. It made me think: have you yourself? You're a man who's been in bands for quite a few years now. Have you seen anything like that of late, aside from this, in your time in music?
I've seen, yeah, yes, I have.
Oh,
I've seen band guys get into it and stuff. Um, but I've also seen, I don't know what the dynamic there was. So I can't, when I say what I'm getting ready to say, I'm not at all talking about that situation because I don't know what the dynamic there was. It may have been something that may subject wise, what it pertained to may have been one of those things that is unforgivable. But I've seen a lot of crap go down on the road. I mean, it's 20 plus friggin' years. I've seen
yeah,
a lot of just holy crap stuff happen on between band members within a band and band members from opposite bands. And luckily, in my years, there it's salvageable. It's repairable. It's understanding that life on the road is it's a mess. It's sometimes sometimes you walk up to somebody and they're like like a fan or somebody and they're like well, I met so and so and they're a jerk and you're like well no actually I've known him for 15 years and he's actually a beautiful dude. I said please understand you never know what that individual may be dealing with that day. Chances are he hasn't seen his wife and kids in 3 weeks. He's waking up dealing with he may have just got off the phone with some bull crap, dealing with some crap from back home that he's stuck 1,000 miles away from, and he can't do anything about it, and he feels as helpless as we all do sometimes. You never know where the mindset is when you run into an individual like that is living in a shoebox on wheels, out on tour. And
Yeah.
so yeah, a lot of times the stuff that I've seen luckily has been able to the both parties. It wasn't serious enough that both parties weren't able to realize that fact, that truth, and come to terms with that, and at least meet in a middle enough ground that things were able to continue on. But again, like I said, I have no idea what the dynamic was there between the CKY and the Alien Ant Farm. So I'm far from damning either side on that. You know, I wasn't there, wasn't a part of it, don't know what happened. So
Yeah, very much the same in this case. I just thought, man, well, I've got Ryan on. I might ask him if anything wild like that's happening in his time.
oh yeah. I've seen some stupid stuff. I've been a part of some stupid stuff.
No swinging punches, I hope, Ryan.
Not outside of the band, no.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You got to understand. We used to laugh about the fact that with Drowning Pool, we had two Cajuns, Stevie, Mike and CJ both are originally born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. Stevie, the bass player, Stevie's the one true Texan of the band, and then myself, I'm from Indiana. So we used to laugh about, in a joking way, we used to laugh about the fact we got two Cajuns, a hillbilly, and a redneck. When we had a problem within the band, we threw down.
Really?
I mean, I walked on stage one time with a black eye from taking a shot. It was, and we all did. We threw each other through tables. We threw each other through. I mean, and then 5 minutes later, we're sitting at the table in the bus having shots. We're guys. We were guys that grew up with siblings. So when we had an issue, we had words, and a lot of times it led to throwing hands. And we respected the shit out of each other, though. At the end of the day, we loved each other like siblings. So it's like I said, like 5 minutes later, you're sitting at the table having a shot.
Oh man, that's
so yeah. I've been a part of a lot of that crap, but it never, especially within the band like that, it never stopped us from loving each other 1 second. So.
Oh, I love that. I love it right there, Ryan. So for those who don't know, how did you come to rejoining Drowning Pool? Like it's new, and like the new song too, man. That's amazing nostalgia all over the place there. How did you come to step back into the band?
Through the years that we were apart, Stevie and I, we kept in contact. We're both big American football fans, so we would keep in contact every once in a great while. We would hit each other up, something to do with football, if it had something to do with the teams that we follow. And but that was always it. It was never anything else. And all of a sudden, one day, I was at a pub here in England, and Stevie started messaging me. And Stevie is the Texan. And if you know anything about Texas guys, they don't have a lot to say. They're very short and to the point when they have something to say. They're no nonsense. They're not small talkers, And all of a sudden, he started messaging me, and this went on for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So finally, I'm like, dude, are you okay? Is everything all right? And Steve is like, yeah, man, things are great. And then about 3 minutes later, he goes, actually, I was kind of wondering if you'd be interested in getting back together and doing some reunion shows. And I was like, without missing a beat, pipe sprained a thumb trying to respond real quick because I missed the shit out of the guys. And I was like, yeah, dude, I'm in. Absolutely. And then 3 days later, the manager at the time called me, and it wasn't like a reunion thing anymore. It was like, okay, you're back in the band. We got a show coming up with Pantera in 2 weeks. We got to get the set ready. We got to get flights booked and all this stuff. So it was just like, boom. And it was just go time. I mean, we just took off running.
Yeah, game on type deal there. And that's crazy too, Ryan, because you're in soil as well. How does it go sort of juggling the two bands, like two big time bands too?
It's been a busy year. I have not been home much. I have not been home much at all. Right now, I'm in the midst of the longest period of time that I've been home, which is like 2.5 weeks that I've been home this year. Usually I'm home for about 3 or 4 days and I'm back out again. Which when you live in England and all your tours this past year has been in the US or Mexico, it's been a lot of long flights, but it's been awesome that both bands have been as cool with it as they are. I mean, they've been very respectful of like, if I do want to fly home for if I've been if I've been away from home for a month and a half, which has happened a few times in the past in the past year. They're very respectful of the fact that when I look at them, I go, dude, I know we need to go in and record because we got a ton of music that we've been writing since I got back in the band. I know we need to go in and record, but I need to go home for a few days. I need to sleep in my own bed for a couple nights and see my wife and sit on my own couch for a hot second, and they've been very respectful of that. Both bands have. So it's been very thankful that I'm with guys that are mature enough not to get jelly or not they understand. We're all a bunch of matured individuals at this point in time in our career, and I'm very thankful for that because it's easy to get selfish at times in this industry when you need to get something done and you want to get something done. To then step aside and go, yeah, man, the dude needs a couple of days off, and they've been very cool with that.
And no stepping back to those WWE days in the tour bus there, Ryan.
No, not yet. No, we're still maybe we're still too much in the honeymoon phase right now. I think we've all gotten to the point to where, like, back then when you're young, when things are, you're so consumed by the industry that you're so consumed by this going this way and this going that way and everything that you just feel that internal pressure all the time. Whereas I think in this stage of our careers, we realize some shit you just can't do anything about. Some of the industry stuff, some of the business stuff, you just can't do anything about at the end of the day. So you do what you can, and you know that your brothers all have you back because we're all shooting for the same thing. And you do what you can, and that's the best you can do. And you got to throw the cards out there, and let the cards lie where they lie, or whatever that saying is. And so we're all in that stage of our lives. We realize that now. We let more stuff slide off our back. Not that we don't care, but the realization that some of it, man, you just can't do a damn thing about.
Yeah, 100%. Again, well said, Ryan. You're a well-spoken man. And I was going to ask you, like, you've just sort of dropped it in there about, you've had to take time off to get home, even though you know that new music needs to be recorded and whatnot. What is the status on that new Drowning Pool material?
Dude, I think it was CJ's wife, Elena, said to me shortly after getting back with the guy, she was like, thank you so much. I got my husband back. She's like, the past several years, he's not been on fire about music. And she goes, and that's so much a part of who he is and in his being that it's been so weird that missing from his life because he's just not, he hasn't been on fire. And she goes, and since you guys got back together, he's walking around the house with his guitar on. He's constantly noodling. She goes, and it's like I got my husband back. And, in that regard, and it's been awesome. We've been since getting back together, there's been so much new material coming together. It was really like the latest song we just put out there, Revolution. It just happened to be the first song that we were able to actually get completed because we've been so busy show wise because the demand for the band has been it's been awesome that we haven't had a lot of opportunities to get into the recording phase. And so Revolution was the first song that we were actually able to completely get together. But we got some dates coming up here in December in Texas. And I'm actually staying for a while then a few days to go into the studio and kick out a couple more of these songs that we've got written. And we've got so much that the plan is to release another single or two within the next few months. And then 2025, there will be a new album or EP of some sort that we'll be putting out.
Oh, that is what I like to hear right there. That's amazing. Hopefully we can catch some of it on this Australian tour with Alien Ant Farm in February. Now, we will run out of time real quick here, Ryan, so I wanted to ask you a couple more questions.
Yes.
And What's the favorite thing that your music's popped up on throughout the years? It can be Soil or it can be Drowning Pool. Like Saw 4 soundtrack back in the day was very cool for me. But you personally, what gives you the biggest spin out when you hear like one of your songs in a movie or on a video game or something like that? What's the coolest thing, would you say?
That's tough. You back up. I got you. Like I said a second ago when I hit on a minute ago when I was talking about Stevie and I talking. I'm a huge American football fan, like a sickness. It's before I realized it was contrived like WWE, but it's but I've always been a huge American football fan, whether it was college, whether it was pros, whatever. And because I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, the
Yes.
season is always bullcrap. The season always sucks because our team always sucks. So being a fan, the only time a Cleveland Brown fan had any hope was going into the draft every year, the collegiate draft,
Yeah.
and because that was the one time you'd hope to get somebody that would make a difference. So
Oh, yeah.
I became a huge draft junkie, and then one year we had a song called "Feel Like I Do." And ESPN used that song coming in and out of all the commercial breaks for the NFL draft that year. So for me, I was able to be at home for that particular draft, and I'm sitting there watching ESPN like I did every year since I was a kid, watching the draft and hearing my music being played on the intro and the exit for all the commercial breaks was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I love asking that question because that's mind blowing when you get to do it. And especially when you're saying you're such a big NFL fan. I was actually in Cleveland last month and
Ah,
we went to a Cavaliers game because I'm a basketball guy. And my friend there was saying something about the Cleveland Browns mascot. Like he's saying they're trying to choose between two or something. Does that sound familiar to you? And he's going, oh, something has to go, but I can't remember. But it was very funny.
yeah, like the traditional mascot is like this little elf. It's supposed to be a brownie, which is like a little elf dude.
Yeah.
And then like they in the 80s they kind of adopted the whole dog pound thing, so the dog became kind of like the imagery. So they've been bouncing back and forth on that for a couple decades now. Yeah.
Yeah, and this dude's just, I think he was saying maybe the elf has to go. I don't remember, but he was very passionate about it. I had no
It's
idea.
hard to make an elf look cool.
Hey, well, there you go, man. But hey, before we run out of time, you mentioned it earlier. You're talking about like your social media, things like that, Ryan. You were saying, well, if it wasn't for social media, we probably wouldn't be as big in music and stuff. What do you think you would be doing career-wise if it wasn't for music?
Well, I went to college for mechanical drafting and design technology. So
Damn.
the whole CAD CAM systems, mechanical drafting. So that's what I went to school for. So I'd probably be boring the shit out of myself drawing and no, I mean I loved it obviously because it's why the profession that I was gearing towards outside of music. But at the same time, I can't imagine not doing this because there's a lot of stuff up here that I'm pretty sure if I hadn't been able to get out the last 20 plus years, I'd probably be sitting in some jail cell somewhere.
Oh, I love that, man. I could talk to you all day, but be sure to hit these guys up. It is Drowning Pool touring with Alien Ant Farm in February. Dates in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, and Perth, 7th, 8th, 9th, 11th, and 12th. Tickets and details through the Phoenix AU. Hit this man up at Ryan McCombs 37 on Instagram, official Ryan McCombs on Facebook. Ryan, thanks so much for taking time out, man.
Thank you, Ned. I really appreciate your time, man. Thank you.